Shout out to you, Harley. We're gonna wait for a couple people to join in. We've been waiting for this moment for a couple months now. The moment to where we could say Houston Texans football is finally back and training camp less than 24 hours away, man. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, super excited. I mean, we all love the Texans. We all love the content. We all love the constant news that
Hmm.
just doesn't stop. The flow of news is about to enter the veins of all Texans fans. Training camp is here. Everybody reports. Well, everybody reported today. The first day
Hmm.
of training camp's tomorrow. First day for the public is on Friday. That
Mm.
is going to be extremely exciting for everybody.
Are you gonna be there on Friday?
I'm gonna try to make it. Actually, I'm gonna try to make it.
What up? What up, Flame High Shore? Shout out to Rengoku. Shout out to Steven.
Yeah,
Shout
rip my
out to
boy
Leo.
Rengoku. Rip my boy Rengoku,
Rengoku
bro.
got that fist through the heart, man.
Bro, rip Rengoku, bro.
I'm on my One Piece game right now. It's getting interesting,
Mm,
but
mm.
1,000 episodes is really tough, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm on freaking episode 807 right now, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's a grind, but
yeah.
it's great, man. And speaking of great, how about them Astros, buddy?
Hey man, hey man.
Chazzy
This should
Chaz.
be Chaz Chomp. I got my 2017 hat right here. All righty, still got it on. Still rocking the thing. All right, never stop. Got
Hmm.
my video for Justin Verlander popping tomorrow.
How do you feel about Verdaddy potentially coming back?
Look, I don't know how much I trust the source.
Because
With
he was
been
putting
on
himself out there.
been on the top, but yeah, he's putting himself out there for sure. He really wants to double down on it. So hey, I mean, if he's doing all that, then there's got to be some chew to the bone, right? There's got to be something there, right? I mean, me personally, if I'm the Astros, if I'm already calling on Justin Verlander, I might as well just take a little sip on Max Scherzer while I'm there.
Mm,
You know, hey, what's going on over here? Okay, no Verlander, no Verdaddy. Well, what about Max Scherzer over there? What you got over there?
mm-hmm.
You know, because overall that trade, they're going to take the brunt of that deal. The
Yep.
Mets, they're going to take the brunt of that money, and you give Verlander for a rather, I don't know other word, but cheap. I don't want to say cheap, but it's going to be relatively cheap. Verlander has been performing well as a starting pitcher, so yeah, the Texans, Astros can still get Verlander and then double dip into the pitching market still.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There's some stuff brewing for the Astros. Wink, wink.
Rengoku said, "Can you smell what the Texans are cooking?" No, I think we all can, and I think this is the one of the most exciting times to be a Houston Texans fan. So make sure you guys are tuned in tomorrow because me and Harley, we're going to be tweeting. We're going to be dropping videos. We're going to be going on Twitter Spaces. So follow me at 713HSP. Harley, what is your Twitter?
At the lead underscore HOU.
Yes, and we will also be going live to give you the daily updates of what goes on during training camp. I myself will be at every single open training camp practice that is being held. Shout out to the Houston Texans for giving free tickets. Harley, I know you'll be there maybe just as much as me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it as much as I can. I have work in the morning, so
Mm.
and practice here starts early in the morning, and work starts earlier in the morning, 5 a.m. every day, except on Wednesdays it's 4 a.m. So, but Sundays I'm definitely going to, and I'm going to the scrimmage open joint practice between the
Hmm.
Texans and the Dolphins. So,
Yeah, no. And if you guys are at training camp, man, you see me or Harley, say hi, dude. We like talking football. We could go ahead
of
and get a
course,
brew
dude.
after, man. Injury free, yeah, man. Seeing all these injuries happen in the first couple of days, it's shocking and it's scary, right? Because when you look at the Texans, so far we haven't heard nothing, right? The only kind of injury player is Kenyon Green, and we'll talk about him a little bit later. But so far, I love that the Houston Texans are going in healthy.
Yeah, man, that's what you bless for. I mean, the praying hands is the best emoji right there. You hope and you just hope to God that injury bug doesn't come up biting you. And we heard about Sheldon Rankins and being on the inactive
Mm,
list, unable for football, but like illness related. So,
Maybe
but
that
there
that
was,
diarrhea.
yeah, maybe, because there were some tweets after that said he's fine, nothing
Hmm.
wrong with him. He should be back tomorrow. So,
Yeah,
okay, cool. I saw some tweets already, people overreacting. So,
yeah,
training camp hasn't even officially started, and we already got some overreacting tweets. So it's all
yeah.
well. It's all
And
well.
shout out to the guys who are in here: T, Steven Anderson, Trey Little, like we said, Rengoku. Who else? Who's that? Oh yeah, Oren Johnson Jr. Shout out to you guys. Yeah, like I said, if you see us, man, we're cool people, dude. We like to talk football, talk
We
shit,
down to
have
earth
fun.
dude, man.
Hey man, on Sunday, I'm sorry, yeah, Sunday. If no one gets us a beer, dude, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be a little upset too, man.
I'm
I'm gonna be a
I'm,
little upset.
I'm gonna say,
People,
wow. Nonetheless, we'll go back to who showed up and didn't show up. You know who did? Cornerback Steven Nelson. After all the shots on Twitter he threw, you can't trust the MF for wearing a vest every single day. Reports to training camp. Hey, the Houston Texans, they held their ground. I'm excited to see how Steven Nelson plays at training camp, but also the second cornerback spot to me is up for grabs.
yeah, definitely. And I think Steven Nelson's kind of digged himself that hole.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have said that even with the Shaq Griffin signing. I'm not quite sure I would have definitively said that. Maybe I could have implied, hey, maybe Shaq Griffin can compete for cornerback too. But I feel like Steven Nelson's kind of digging his own grave
Hmm.
and digging it into a potential cap cut casualty.
Ooh.
I mean, I think that could be a thing that can happen. I know Jacoby Francis has been a name that's been looked at by D'Amico Ryans, talked about very highly, and his performance at OTAs was nothing to bat an eye towards. Like he was pretty legit. And this is a guy that's an undrafted guy that was with the Texans last year. This is his second year on the team, new scheme, new coach, grand opportunity for him to take the bull by the horns. Steven Nelson doesn't show up. Okay, Shaq Griffin, what can you do? You
Mm.
good to go? Are you healthy? Are you, he came here depending on scheme, cover three. We play a lot of cover three with D'Amico Ryan. So maybe it's a bounce back year for him. I could see it.
Yeah, no, and he was a Pro Bowler with the Seattle Seahawks, and like you mentioned, the same style of defense and scheme. It is interesting, and I am excited to see how it plays out because I agree. Steven Nelson has put himself in a hole. If he wants to be on a roster on this roster, well, he needs to ball out. So it's going to be great to see how the cornerback two competition is going. Hey, we also brought in Ronald Darby. I'm not sure what is going to happen there. But it looks like the Houston Texans are continuing to add to the secondary. But then they also added in the coaching staff as well.
Mm.
In my opinion, the best free agent signing in Houston Texans history, Jonathan Joseph has signed to be a part of the Houston Texans coaching staff. This is an A plus for me.
Oh yeah,
Hey, wait,
stupendous.
is that the margarita topos?
Oh, of
Oh my
course,
god.
of course,
You
man,
don't like the
of
regular
course.
ones?
I like both. I like
Okay.
both. There's nothing wrong
Can't
with
go
both.
wrong.
I just like topos, man. I mean, nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. All
Nothing
right,
wrong.
Jonathan Joseph. Look, how many people? I mean, we've been clamoring about Jonathan Joseph, uh, in his potential to be a head coach or potential to be a coach, actually, not a head coach. But I mean, we've all been saying this. Local media members have been saying this. Every media member that we know of in Houston has been clamoring that Jonathan Joseph needs to be a coach on this staff. It should have happened a lot sooner. It should have happened when Bill O'Brien was here. I'm for real. I mean, I thought we were going to see it when Brian Cushing came along. Andre Johnson was kind of in the fold in terms of the front office organization. So I thought we were going to have a Jonathan Joseph, reunion. But hey, better late than never. Jonathan Joseph back in H-Town where he belongs.
AT, not too much on our guy now. Jonathan Joseph, his first 5 years was shut down. Don't forget, he spent 5 years prior with the Cincinnati Bengals. And to be here for 9 years and be a number one cornerback for the Houston Texans was one of the bright spots of the early playoff teams. J. Joe, welcome here. And Sean Pendergast from Sports Radio 610, he said how
There we go.
developmental he
There we
was
go.
for Kareem Jackson. And he said, I see a similar situation to second year cornerback Derek Stingley. How you feel about J. Joe helping out Stingley?
Easy. I mean, isn't it a match made in heaven?
Yep.
Derek Stingley wears what number?
24.
24. Jonathan Joseph wore what number?
24.
24. Hey, man. I mean, that's just a match made in heaven, right? I mean, it just coincided with each other perfectly. Derek Stingley's also entering year two. We've seen him much bulkier, buffed up a lot, and still maintain the same athleticism. So that's telling me that I really do believe he's having a breakout year. And, on my hottest segment of all of YouTube sports here in Houston, the Spit and Fire or Not segment. All right, we queued it. We queued it up to saying, in we being myself and my ego, Derek Stingley Jr. I definitely believe he's going to be a Pro Bowler.
Mm.
But the hot that's not the hot take. The hot take is he's going to be an All Pro this year. That's the hot take. All right. Do I believe it? Yes, of course. I believe
Mm.
everything I say. But ultimately, when I do break it down, I think he dances around that conversation.
Mm.
I don't think he ultimately is going to get it, but I do believe he's getting that kind of a year. Like, you're getting a guy that is going to get that kind of a year. And then, I'm sorry, but to the comment of 20 yards off, that was Romeo Crennel. Come on now. Romeo Crennel had that defense playing 20 yards off, and at least Jonathan Joseph and some other corners, except for Aaron Colvin, decided, oh wait,
Let me touch him.
let's actually, if we're playing 20 yards off, have the awareness to go up on the guy. And
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Colvin said, no, I'm just gonna play 20 yards off the whole time and have the Saints just get that first down and get that field goal easily. So, you know, I hate to stroll down the a horrible memory. That was a fantastic game, by the way. But it is what it is. Jonathan Joseph is going to do amazing things here. Going to be in your secondary. Oh yeah, I like this move.
Man, shout out to Aaron Colvin. That's one of the Houston Texans players we forgot. Hey, we were so hype about this guy. Bought out the year before with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that was because they had Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye, and a very good safety tandem. Of course, you're
Ugh.
gonna eat, man. Shout, dude, that game, I think we were all like saying, "Dude, leave him in freaking New Orleans, dude."
Yeah, everyone that was hyped about Aaron Colvin lost it like that. Like, he made enemies in Houston, man. Like, fast. He didn't even get his feet wet here before people turned on him so quick. The city turned on him so quick. Unfair to him. I mean, he's being told to play 20 yards off. Sure, should he have the awareness to step up? Yes. But he's being told what to do by a defensive coordinator that has been in the game for as long as Bill Belichick. And so ultimately, that's Rack's fault. Yeah, Colvin has some problems there, but he's listening to what the guy's telling him to do. I'm going to trust the guy that's been in the league for 40 years.
Bro, do you know how much he's gonna make when he retires and he gets that check every single week? I think it's like someone correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like 75% of your highest check you ever gotten. That is what you're gonna get as your retirement plan. Shout out to the coaches and players who last long in the NFL. Trey Little, you're gonna get us very upset. What do you think about D Hop going to the Tennessee Titans and the Tennessee Titans new uniform? Now I'm gonna answer the D Hop one because I know my boy Harley feels a certain type of way. I don't care about DeAndre Hopkins at this point. Yes, I would have loved him on the Houston Texans, but it was obvious that after a couple of days, there was no market for number 10. And I don't think the Houston Texans were going to give him that kind of contract that he got with the Tennessee Titans. And I don't know why they think they're going to be good. It was kind of a desperation move. It reminds me of something the Houston Texans would have done. Bring in an aging veteran who you will get excited about. But as we all know, the Tennessee Titans is where wide receivers go to die. My favorite player of all time, Andre Johnson, career ended after he caught the game-winning touchdown and it was thrown to him by Marcus Mariota. Who else? Julio Jones, a beast with the Atlanta Falcons, goes to Tennessee for 1 year. Sham. Now it is DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not worried about it. I'm just upset that the Houston Texans haven't given CJ a weapon. But in regards to the uniform, Harley the Duganator, how do you feel not only about the uniform, but the way the Titans are portraying their, oh, we embodied what the Houston Oilers were doing.
It's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's disgraceful.
Mm.
They don't know what oil is in Nashville. They only
Mm.
know country music and a Hall of Fame of country music, and that's it. I mean, look, I've been to Nashville before. Not bad. It's a pretty city. It's a nice city. But I mean, come on, man. They have no idea about the Houston Oilers.
Mm.
Oh, but they were named the Tennessee Oilers. It's like, okay, so what? 2 years of being named the Tennessee Oilers just eradicates the rest of the history behind the Houston Oilers. And then it pissed me off even more
Mm.
was the collar.
We
To
love you,
see
Blue.
it say "Love You Blue" on there, and a lot of this hatred comes from my dad. Because
Yes.
my dad was a huge Houston Oilers fan, still is. And it hurts. It hurts seeing it. Um, and it's disgusting to see Titans fans to say that, oh well, we are the Houston Oilers. Like that's a disgusting statement to hear. It's ridiculous. Uh, one of the biggest ones, and I don't care. We're live. Uh, I don't care. I didn't even see 610 today, and I wish I did. But I mean, John McClain's got to be the biggest sleazebag there is. I
John
mean, go ahead and
Lopez.
go to the fucking
They were
Titans. You
they
don't want
they
to
were
go to
going
fucking.
at it today on 610.
I didn't hear it, man. I forgot about it. I would have played it on my phone when I was at work. I forgot, but that's the biggest sleazebag there is. If you just want to suck off the owner and just keep on sucking him off, and I mean that guy's dead. The guy's gone, and you're still sucking him off in his grave. Like you are literally digging a hole in the grave, getting it all in there, face deep, pancakes deep. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let that man rest in peace. Let that man rest in peace, man. You still sucking that man off. Come on, man. You want to be a Tennessee Titan guy? Go ahead and be a Tennessee Titan. Go ahead and be a Tennessee Oiler. Go ahead
Mm.
and be that. Go stay on that side. I don't need you here, man. I don't need you here. You can be all you want. He waffles both sides. I can't. That's the media member we got. A media member that waffles both sides.
Don't
All right,
start.
man.
Don't
All
start.
right, man.
Don't
All
start.
right.
Don't
All
start.
right. I'm gonna shut it down there. I'm gonna shut it down there. I'm gonna shut it down there, man, because that's just what upset me more. Because I felt like if anybody would have been disrespected, I
Mm.
thought it would have been John McClain. He covered the Houston Oilers, and this man had the audacity to be like, "Oh well, the players love it. It's great to see the Oiler uniform being worn by somebody." He said it would be great to be worn by anybody.
Mm.
What the hell does that mean? So you're telling me that the if the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was a all-time rival of the Houston Oilers, they could never beat the goddamn Steelers. It was like Astros Braves, but that rivalry they had was intense. I'm talking Hall of Fame Steelers and some Hall of Fame Oiler players going head to head. And so you're telling me if you saw a Steeler fan rocking a Houston Oiler jersey, the Steelers players rocking a Houston Oiler jersey, you would have been okay with it? Like, how does this make any sense, man? It's ridiculous. Tennessee will never be the Oilers. They can say whatever the hell they want, but they'll never be the Oilers. But if John McClain wants to continue his little Tennessee radio over there, he'd go ahead and continue it, man, and he could stay there. I don't need his ass back in Houston, man. I don't need that fake man back in Houston.
T said chill on his Braves, dude.
Hey, man, you know what, man? Braves are a good team. All right. So my baseball side is a lot bigger than my football side. But the Braves are great. The Braves are a great team. hey man, it is what it is. We had some fights with the Braves, and I'll mention my Chris Burke 18 innings, but then I don't want to think about Jorge Soler.
Were you up that whole game?
Yes, as a kid, watching the whole like that team was my
So
my my team.
me and my pops were watching the game, and I was little. I was real little, and my mother had just had my first sister Desiree.
Mm,
Now, baby's quiet. Game goes well into the night. Chris
yeah,
Burke, home run, walk it off. We wake up the baby. We wake up my mom. We wake up my grandparents. My dad said, "This is history, son. You will never see another game like this." Shout out to the Houston Astros. They are up 1-1 right now because Chas McCormick just doubled to left field. Shout out to the Houston Astros for having a 1-0 lead against the Texas Rangers in a division
mm,
battle.
mm. Love me some Chaz.
Nonetheless, I think it is a definite troll job by the Tennessee Titans.
Man,
There's no
if
excitement around Tennessee. And like when I say they just did this just to be petty and just to give their fan excitement and fake hype, I absolutely mean that. Like, does anyone think the Tennessee Titans are going to be dangerous? No. They had
man,
one of the worst
no,
offensive lines last year, made no improvements to that. Is the quarterback going to be Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, or Will Levis? You guys tell me. And then adding DeAndre Hopkins into the mix. Look, I see it. I would have done the same thing. If I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, I'm thinking this is the push I need to go to the playoffs. But in reality, man, they're going to set themselves up for failure. And I hope they wear those jerseys against us. I
oh,
really do.
bring
I
that shit on.
and I hope it's in Houston. And I hope it's in Houston because they're going to, because that's what I would have done, right? And CJ Stroud, and someone set it up here. Let me find the comment, right? Someone said, "Do you think the current players now will care about that?" I think they will. I think these new young core of players care about the fans. And they obviously see that we are upset about these uniforms. I feel like they will play a little bit harder. And also, some of these players are from the H. Jalen
Yes.
Petrie from the H. You think he's gonna take that lightly? Tank Dell from the, like, come on now. What are we talking about? This pushed the rivalry up even further. And I love it, right? Because we haven't really been that hot with the Tennessee Titans in a hot minute since Andre Johnson whipped Cortland Finnegan's ass.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this rivalry that's going to start. The jerseys still look clean, though. I will say that.
Oh, of
Oh
course.
my God.
They're the cleanest jerseys that's
Ugh.
coming out now. I mean, no one competes with that. I'm sorry. And I like the Seahawks 90s jerseys. The creamsicles are okay, but the Oilers love you blue, powder blue. I mean, it's skyrocketing. But I mean, come on, man. The Titans are not. They're definitely trolling, but they're not even good at that. They're just as bad at trolling as they are at football, man. Like they're not even good at trolling. If you want to troll, then change your
Go
goddamn
ahead.
name permanently to be the goddamn Oilers. You want to troll, then troll. Go ahead and change your name to the damn Oilers. They stayed 2 years as the Tennessee Oilers. The fans didn't know in Nashville. They were just happy that they had football, and they demanded Bud Adams to
Mm.
change the name. Why? Because they didn't give a shit about the Oilers, just as much as they don't give a shit about it right now. The only reason the former players are there and everything is because of the owner, Amy Adams, who stood right there. Man, she's the reason why these players are going because they feel like they have to do it for her because
Mm.
of Bud Adams. That's the only reason they go to any of this Tennessee crap. But I know, in the deepest of their hearts, they wish this shit was still in Houston. Come on, man. First playoff game against the Bengals. Who comes out with the cowboy hat? No
Rest in
Walker, no
peace.
King. Rest
Rest in
in
peace.
peace, my guy. Man, Bum Phillips comes out there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gets the cowboy hat, waves it to everybody. and the crowd erupted.
Yes.
My dad was in tears
Yes.
when he saw that. That's how much that shit means to the city of Houston. Ain't no goddamn way Tennessee trying to troll. They can't even troll right, man. Damn.
It's gonna be so good when we beat their ass, man. This
Oh,
is
we beat them twice, man.
and I had told you, like, I'm not really like, tripping about them switching until I saw the uniforms, and then I saw the troll job where they put out a whole tribute video, and 98% of the highlights were here in the H, and it kind of seemed like the Tennessee Titans had no identity. It seemed like they were reaching for something. And it goes back to that false hope that I say that they are trying to build. No one thinks that Tennessee Titans team is going to be good outside of their own fan base. We're
Yeah,
in this AFC South chat, and those Titans fans are going absolutely crazy.
that chat is straight. Ooh, I
Shout out
can't
to
say
the
what.
Brown Chubby Bear, man. We rep our like we rep our city in there, man. But it's crazy hearing these Tennessee Titans fan talk, and I just cannot wait to shut them up. Hardy, tomorrow is training camp, and are you ready for the quarterback competition between CJ Stroud and Mills Millie?
What QB competition are you talking about, man?
The one that our new head coach, D'Amico Ryan, said was going to happen. The competition between the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft and the first selection of the Nick Caserio era, third-year quarterback, Davis Longneck Mills.
Look, man, I don't even know if Davis Mills could compete with Case.
Ooh. Oh.
I mean, I mean, come
Bro,
on, man.
that's a
Come
hot
on,
take.
man. Let's be real. Davis Mills, look, man, I appreciate everything he did. Held it down. He got me a top 3 pick. I appreciate it, my guy. I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. You know, he's a backup, and he's
Yeah.
going to be a very good backup in the NFL, and that's what he is. All
Mm.
right, sure, Davis Mills. I'm trolling, man. He gonna beat out Case Keenum, but Case Keenum gonna be on this team because you got to have that experience to sign him for a reason. He knows the system, and I think that's a big thing that's gonna help both C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills. And I know what you're talking about, man. I know there is this so-called competition, but DJ Bieniemy came out with an article just, I believe, a week ago, maybe now.
And shout out to him. He represents
Dude,
us really
he's
well on ESPN.
a guy that
Just
is
got
from
here.
yeah, man. He's from Miami. Like he's a Miami guy, and did their sports coverage well. Went to the New York Jets, did their sports coverage well. Now he's here in Houston, and he's just a great media personality, just a great follow. If you're not following on Twitter, just type in DJ Bieniemy, and he's great, man. He is absolutely great. But he like put down the notion
Yeah.
that there is even a competition,
Mm.
and he mentioned that CJ Stroud is number 2 overall pick.
Yep.
Like, let's be real. We got to facing the facts is a thing that we need to see here for Davis Mills. I appreciate he's not, like I said many times on our Believe Network podcast, and make sure if you're not subscribed to the Believe Network, go ahead and subscribe. Check us out on Spotify, anywhere where you find all your podcast streaming platforms. Believe in Texans. Like I said many times on there, I mean, Davis Mills, I just don't think he should be a starting quarterback. Like, you
Mm.
drafted CJ Stroud for a reason. DJ Bieniemy mentioned the numerous quarterbacks that have been drafted in the top 5, top 3, I want to say, and all of them have been day 1 starters.
Yeah.
So, CJ Stroud's going to join that list.
He's going to join that list. And RK Ruthless says, it's been a while. Yes, man, I haven't seen you in a minute. This is the point to let y'all know that starting now, me and Harley should be your guys' go-to for all your Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Also, like he just mentioned, we are part of the Believe in the Houston Texans podcast. We're going to drop the link in our description. Go ahead and check us out. We got big things coming for you guys. And Man, it just feels great, dude. Like we've been waiting for training camp for almost what? It seems like 3 years now. And
Yeah.
why I say that because the past 2 years has led up to this. The 7 wins in 2 years. The quarterback who likes a finger in his butt, Massage Watson. It all has led up to the Houston Texans rebuild, starting with D'Amico Ryans, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr. And before we get to the defense, someone mentioned it earlier. They said, let's not talk about our receiving core, but we're going to go ahead and talk to you about the receiving core. And Harley, this is the worst group I think that the Houston Texans have right now. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way where all we know is there is potential. And potential means from the famous Jay Gruden before he got canceled, potential means you haven't done it yet.
Yep.
And when you look at the wide receiver core, I hope Nico Collins balls out in year 3. I hope Robert Woods is something. And I hope some of the young guys, whether it's Tank Dell, John Menchie, Xavier Hutchinson to step up, or Noah Brown, I think the receiving core, man, it's not that it's going to be tough to watch, but I could see growing pains throughout training camp in the first part of the season.
Yeah. The wide receiving group, it's a little bit of a clusterfuck. I mean,
Mm,
we got a bunch of guys and a bunch of guys that we don't know what they can do. And that's ultimately what you said. We just don't know what they can ultimately do. Am I intrigued? Yes. The eyeballs and the attention is certainly going to the wide receivers. I mentioned on my YouTube channel, I think one of the guys to watch on offense for this training camp is Tank Dell. I mean, he's got to be the most exciting guy. He's from Houston. He went to University of Houston and repping the H all the time. So, he's going to be a guy that already seems to have that chemistry with CJ
mhm,
Stroud. CJ Stroud mentioned about wanting him pre-draft or actually during the draft, and they went out and got him. So, we got to see what it is that they have, this chemistry. We saw a snippet of it in CJ Stroud's NFL combine. Excuse me. But I still believe that besides Tank Dell, you got to see what Nico Collins got. You got to see what Xavier
mm,
Hutchinson's got. You got to see what is John Mechie going to do this year. Is he, what do you expect out of him? Like there's so much out of this wide receiving group that we just don't have an answer on.
mhm.
And I hope Bobby Slowick, who's our new OC, I hope he utilizes these guys correctly, especially Tinkdale. I
Yes.
keep saying him the most. I need to see motions, off the ball motions. Pre-snap motions is what I need to see. Tinkdale needs to be moving and hike that damn ball when he's in motion. Get him running. And I've seen all of Tinkdale's games at U of H.
Yeah.
He is one of the best red zone threats, which is crazy to think about. One of the best red zone threats last year in college football. And, adding that element to his game of the motions is just going to expand this offense even
Mhm.
more. It's a big brained idea that you have to take advantage of. He's also a threat on special teams. I know a lot of fans are going to be upset when they see him back there as punt returner, kick returner during training camp, but he's got to take reps there because damn it, he's dynamic as hell. And I keep comparing him to Deshaun Jackson.
Mm.
That's who I keep comparing him to. Nothing wrong with it. Deshaun Jackson became a really good wide receiver in the league. I
For
believe
3
he's
different teams. He was a
yeah, man.
1,000-yard with the the
Mhm.
Commanders.
Watch out now.
Imma hit him with the Drewski. 1,000 yards with the Eagles.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to
Mhm.
Deshaun Jackson. And
I
I
believe
think
he's
the
tired.
touchdowns for Tank Dell was 17 last season, 10 in his last 10. 10 of 'em, I mean, almost all of them were in the red zone. There
Yeah.
is reason to believe that Tank Dell will be a weapon for the Houston Texans. Now, you brought it up earlier, and I've been meaning to ask someone this for the past couple of months. what does it mean when CJ Stroud tells his team, go out and get Tank Dell? And like to me, I think that's like a foundation of your future quarterback one, wide receiver one. And I think it means a little bit more that this was your we are looking at CJ Shaw to be the savior of this team. Is it fair to say that?
Yeah. And
And
look,
for
man, this team the last 2 years has been dog shit.
mm,
There's no other way to put it. And we've been. You were there. We were both there for the Texas draft party. The elation, the joy, the erupt of the crowd when they said the number 2 overall pick, CJ Stroud. There was still some uneasiness heading into
mm,
the draft day. You didn't know if you were taking a quarterback day one. You just
it
didn't
was going to
know.
be
There was
Will
a lot
Levis.
of rumors. Yeah, there was a lot of rumors about Will Anderson being the pick or the Texans trading down. And, you didn't want no Will Levis.
Mm,
Hell no. You didn't want no goddamn Hendon Hooker. Hell no. You want one of those top quarterbacks. And one of the top ones, as we knew, with Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. You could have sold me on Anthony Richardson, but I'm so happy we got CJ Stroud. And to overall, man, hey, he demanded his guy. They went out and got his guy. All right, that's great on the Texans organization because as we know, they've been known for not meeting the demands of quarterback.
mm-hmm.
And it's good to see that it feels like a new leaf has been turned. D'Amico's there. It's like a breath of fresh air. I was gonna say a fresh breath of air. Whatever.
I
Close
don't
enough.
know. First of all, I don't know how to say that phrase. A breath air, a new breath of fresh air. Dude, it confuses me.
So ultimately that's just great to see that the
Mm,
Texans went out, listened to CJ Stroud. Hey, he wanted somebody, you went out and got him. I'd be a hypocrite to say otherwise. If you want somebody, they wanted Will Anderson, they wanted CJ Stroud, and they said, hey, you know what, we're gonna double team it, we're gonna fuck it, trade up, let's go get Waj, let's team him up with CJ Stroud, and let's shake up the NFL. Let's tell the NFL right now that the Houston Texans are back. We are no longer outside of the 32 teams. We are re-entering ourselves in the NFL. They hit a reset button. The offseason was fantastic. Sure, there's a lot of optimism I'm throwing right now. My voice is getting louder. I'm getting hyped talking about it. There's a lot of worries that's going to come along the way.
oh
But
yeah.
damn it, it's good to be optimistic about the Texans. When have we been optimistic about this team?
I used to lie to myself and
Oh,
say,
yeah.
yeah, David Culley could get it done.
Fuck no. I never said that.
Lovey Smith could get it done. There
Fuck
was
no.
there was a piece of me that were like, just be competitive, just be competitive. And no, but when you see, dude, and this is why I love D'Amico Ryans, and I think he is gonna be the sole reason why this Houston Texans goes from last to first. It's because I would not believe in all this stuff they are doing if it was another head coach other than D'Amico Ryans.
For sure.
And
For
it's
sure.
when you hear D'Amico talk, dude, when I heard him first talk to CJ Stroud, just talking about, oh, like, this is the first time you have a defensive minded head coach and they're going, back and forth. And don't look at CJ, but look at the players around him. They are looking at D'Amico Ryans and they're like acting like they've heard football for the very first time. And when you see the snippets of him running up and down the field, waving his hands, jumping up and down, and when I used to play football, that used to excite me when I used to see my O-line coach do that. And it's just, I think that D'Amico Ryans is going to turn this around. And it is going to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I'm a big hype guy. I'm a big rah-rah coach guy.
Yeah.
And ultimately I know that doesn't, be successful sometimes. I get that. I clamored for Robert Saleh 2 years ago. I wanted Robert Saleh so much. And we saw the same things, the same effect that Robert
Mm-mm.
Saleh had with, being excited, being pumped. You call a successful play and you get excited. That's what I like to see. I
Yes.
like to see the coach, you know, get excited around what his players did. Like that's what I want to see. All right. And it's just we haven't had that coach ever in our history. Shout out to Coobs, and he did an amazing job here. Got the team the closest to me they've ever gotten to a Super Bowl caliber team. Shout out to Bill O'Brien for steadying the way. Look, the GM, no, but the head coach, yeah. Hey, he said, hey, no, no, no. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Look, shout out to B.O.B. I got to be real. GM, no, disgusting, horrible. Flush the damn toilet. No, it's clogged. Oh, my goodness. What do we do? No, but the head coach, the guy that had Brock Osweiler, Brandon Whedon, Joe
Rock the
Webb,
cock.
Brian Hoyer, uh, rest in peace, but Ryan Mallett,
Mm.
like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I can keep going and going and going. Like the numerous amount of quarterbacks he had. He won a game with Brandon Whedon. The Browns barely won 3 games with Brandon Whedon.
Brandon
And
Whedon was throwing on them Tennessee Titans to Nate
I
Washington.
mean, come on, man. Come on. Like that's where I give Bill O'Brien most of his credit is finding success with the roulette wheel of quarterbacks he had. Now, the GM, absolutely disgusting. Everything else he did, absolutely disgusting. We lost a lot of players because of him. It is what it is. But the coaching chops is what I like to think of for Bill O'Brien. Um, we never had this type of coach, man. I'm
Mm-mm.
excited. We all got to be excited about this team.
Texans clips. Before we get to you, there was a comment down here from Lee Chavez. Going to my first open training camp practice this year. Any advice y'all got for pulling on? We'll expect that hole to be hot.
Yeah.
It is going to be hot. The good thing is that the Houston Texans, they have a cover for everyone to sit down. Make sure you get there early. You're probably going to see me or Harley. I'm going to be wearing my 713 jersey. Harley's going to be wearing his Hawaiian jersey. Feel free to say hi. We're going to have a great time. And if you want to treat us afters to a beer, I'm not expensive. I love a Blue Moon draft. You know,
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it.
you like Blue
Oh yeah.
Moon?
I've never had a blue moon. You keep talking about it. I've never
What?
had one. Never had one.
Bro, so I had the other day, it was a Blue Moon, some
Yeah.
orange juice, and
Yeah.
2 shots of Deep Eddy's orange vodka, and it was tough. I didn't make it past 2. But going back to Texans clips, top 5 positions of need. I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna go wide receiver. Obviously, we just talked about it. I want a nice wide receiver here. The left guard position is scaring me. Kenyon Green is scaring me. Now, I told you a couple weeks ago, I don't want to get to that point just now. But now that training camp is literally 12 hours from now, I am worried about the left guard position. Is it going to be Michael Dieter? Are we going to go into free agency? I know Dalton Reisner or Risner, he is still on the
Yeah.
market. Kenyon Green has not been at practice at all during OTAs, voluntary workouts, according to our head coach, that they are trying to get him on pace for training camp. But left guard, man, it's Kenyon Green is kind of scaring me.
Yeah, I had my video on him as one of the biggest worries going into Texans training camp. And, like you said, they just don't have a backup plan at left guard right now. Unless they're having that center that they drafted in the late day 3 pick.
Mm.
Forgot his name, but he came out of Notre Dame. 4-year starter, I believe. Senior. He played many games there. I saw him immediately as a guy that can be a replacement for Justin McCray, who is a versatile guy that played center and guard. You don't have him anymore. So now enter this guy. Do they have enough confidence for him to play left guard if need be? Or are they going to look at some of the guys you named off for free agency? Because as of right now, we don't know what is the overall health of Kenyon Green. We know he missed all of OTAs. He's missing some of training camp. He's supposed to come back during training camp, but I mean, how far are we going to? Man, I love Zach Martin, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that will happen. I know for sure that ain't happening. But Kenyon Green, look, I know there's been a lot of fans that have their worries around him. I get it. The frustrations are real. But I've always said it, like, zone blocking scheme, man. Like, we've seen some decent offensive linemen, decent players become good players, Pro Bowl players in a zone blocking scheme. I still have faith in it. I'm not gonna label him the four-letter word just yet. I'm not gonna
Mm.
label him. I'm not gonna put him on bust watch just yet.
No,
I'm
no,
not gonna
absolutely
put him
not.
on there.
Absolutely
All
not.
right. But sure, we have the worries around him. In regards to the question he was asking, yeah, man, hey, one of the biggest needs this Texans team has is the interior defensive line. And
Mm.
you've heard me said it before on the Believe in Texans podcast. Again, shout out to Believe Network. Make sure you are following the Believe in Texans podcast anywhere where you stream all your local podcast platforms. So I mentioned the defensive line as a problem, and we've seen now in two ESPN mock drafts for 2024. Yeah, they're already putting those out, guys. Back-to-back mock drafts, actually. Well, two of the three, because the third one they actually had us taking Emeka, the wide receiver
Favor
from
from
Ohio State, Emeka
Ibuki.
Egbuka, whatever. I know someone mentioned him in the chat, so he was named as a guy that the Texans could grab. But you know, the other two guys were interior defensive linemen, one of them being Mason Smith out of LSU, who's really interesting to look at. And overall, the draft class for interior defensive linemen is supposed to be really good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's shaping up to be a damn good interior draft class, a draft class for interior defensive linemen, excuse me. And that's just great for the Texans. If you have a deep draft class for defensive linemen, dude, that's one of our needs
Mm-hmm.
because I'm looking at this depth chart and I'm going, okay, Sheldon Rankins,
You're not hype
right?
on Rankins and Collins?
I'm hyped on Rankins.
Okay.
Collins, I got to see. Collins is a great pass rusher. He's a
Mm.
great pass rusher. But I'm more towards looking at the run stopping ability. He's not that great of a run stopper. Better pass rusher. He's going to accumulate sacks. This defensive scheme should help out on Malik Collins a lot. But I'm looking at the depth after those two guys. Hassan Ridgeway. Okay, he knows the scheme. I don't mind it. It's all right. Then after that, it's Roy Lopez, Kurt Heinisch, Thomas Booker.
Mm.
So okay, and I keep forgetting about Thomas Booker, so disrespectful to him
He looks
because
jacked.
yes, man, he's jacked. He's one of the smartest players to come out of the draft last year, and I just don't think he ever had a chance last year.
Mm.
I mean, it was rare we ever saw him on the field. So, given that there's a new defensive scheme, he's got a lot to prove, man. And this is to me more of his rookie year because
Ooh,
we just didn't see him that much last year. Roy Lopez, of course, you know me. I
big
love me
sexy.
some Roy Lopez. Big sexy Roy Lopez doing the salsa dance and everything. And look, Texas fans can clown me all I want. All right, they keep clowning me about Roy Lopez. I love me some Roy Lopez. All right, I just love him. He's my dude. He is my guy. If
He's a
anyone's
fifth
seen
round
my
pick, man.
if anyone's seen my YouTube channel, yeah, I was there talking to Roy Lopez and Garrett Wallow in draft party 2 years ago. So yeah, I love Roy Lopez. He is my dude. I ultimately do believe he will make this roster. I
Mm.
do believe that. But it would not shock me if the Houston Texans, if there's some cut guys that are solid to good defensive linemen, interior guys, it
Mm.
would not shock me that they pick up one of those guys. And it's all going to be dependent on how they feel on a Thomas Booker, on a Roy Lopez, or Kurt Heinisch. You can't knock him either. He had a really good camp last year. Let's see if it continues.
Tugs Given asks, which days are y'all going to camp? I got tickets to the 28th, 13th, and 16th. Well, I'm going to be at almost every single one. I think
Yeah,
Harley is trying to be at almost every single
yeah,
one too.
right.
This is going to be one of the most exciting training camps in the past couple of years, in my opinion. Right? You got D'Amico, you got CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Tank Dell, and now that we switch to the defensive side, someone asked earlier, Who do you think is going to be opposite of Will Anderson Jr.?
Oh man, it's going to be a mix of Jerry Hughes and Jonathan Grenard. And Jerry, I like Jerry Hughes, but I think just Jonathan Grenard. Obviously, he's got to stay healthy. We all know that. Um, but for the hypothetical here, as long as he does stay healthy, like I could see Jonathan Grenard going back to what he was doing. I believe it was 2 years ago where he had almost double digit sacks.
I think I had
Jonathan
eight and a
Grenard.
half.
So yeah, so Jonathan Grenard was a force that year. And then injuries just kind of riddled it away and kind of forgot about him. He's gonna have to prove it to me again.
Mm.
But a new scheme, new coach, new everything should help him out a lot. I still question Jerry Hughes. When is age going to catch up to him? I like the veteran leadership that he brings. I loved him last year. And it wasn't even because of the production. It was because I saw him getting mad on the sideline multiple times. And that season last year, it didn't mean jack shit.
It was one
Like,
of the most difficult seasons to ever watch, and I really
yeah,
mean that.
yeah. And Jerry Hughes is on the sideline
Mm-hmm.
throwing a fit, getting pissed. That is what is awesome to see as a fan because that man cares. That man wants people to play better. That man wants everyone and knows that everyone on this team, whether or not the fans think they're cheeks or great,
Mm-hmm.
he believes everyone on that team is going to be good, has the ability to perform better. And that's what I love. I
Mm-hmm.
love players like that. I love guys like Jerry Hughes, get upset. When have we had a Texans player get upset like that? Like, I mean, it's been a while, other than like, JJ Watt yelling at Ross Blacklock. But
Remember when Rick Dennison got mad at everyone?
yeah, Rick Dennison sucked. Rick Dennison sucked, man. We all knew that. He gave Rick Dennison the keys for the offense, Gary Kubiak. And Rick Dennison, man, that offense looking like Dookie. And then as soon as he was gone, all of a sudden our offense was just clicking. And I was like, come on, man. This dude was ass. Like, come on, man. Shout out to Rick
Shout out
Dennison,
to
man.
Rick Dennison. He'll give you that passion.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he
Oh,
followed Kubiak everywhere he went. So shout out to
yeah.
Kubiak for putting his
He
boys
was, he
on.
was the
Jake
equivalent.
Eubanks
Yeah, yeah.
says linebackers are weak. Now,
Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree. I like what Denzel Perryman is showing me when he's working out. He looks like he's chiseled from stone. He needs to be healthy.
Yeah.
Pro Bowler a couple of years ago with the Las Vegas Raiders, I think. And, he needs to show that here. But that was an obvious D'Amico Ryans get. We were hearing about Denzel Perryman for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
until it finally happened. I do think the Houston Texans cut Christian Kirksey. You
Mm,
save, I think, $3 to $5 million.
yeah.
You could use that wherever else you want to. I think you need to go to youth, and I think Christian Harris and Denzel Perryman will be your starting linebackers for this season. But like Jake said, man, it is very, very weak.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of the 4-3 linebackers, and I'm like, ugh. Henry To'oTo'o's got to impress for me in order to cut Kirksey. To'oTo'o definitely has the ability to impress,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just great draft value. Getting him in a day 3 pick was just magnificent. Getting him that late, I didn't think he would be there at all. So grabbing him, and they've talked about his ability as someone that's able to process information very fast. Former Alabama linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
D'Amico's an Alabama linebacker. Christian Harris is an Alabama linebacker. You might as well start looking at the Houston Texans as SEC
Football, baby.
2.0. I
SEC
mean,
football, baby.
yeah, man. I mean, you got LSU with Derek Stingley. You got the Alabama boys. Add Will Anderson to that name too for Alabama. So at the end of the day, though, the linebackers are weak. Denzel Perryman, like you said, he's got to stay healthy. Sure, he looks like a made out of a ton of bricks, man. He looks like something like the Hulk, man. That dude is huge. But I need to see it translate onto the field.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Harris is my guy that I had as the spotlight on to watch on training camp for this defense. I did my YouTube video around him. D'Amico Ryans, he's a linebacker.
Yeah.
And he was a former linebacker, as we all know, with the Houston Texans and the Philadelphia Eagles. And then he is also accustomed to helping them 49ers linebackers.
Mm.
And one of them, as we said many, many, many episodes ago, was Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, third round
And
pick.
yeah, man. And look, I'm not comparing Christian Harris to Fred Warner because they play two different positions. Fred Warner's a middle linebacker. Christian Harris is going to be playing your weak side linebacker. But I need to see the progression. I need to see the improvements. Christian Harris has that ability, man. He has the athleticism. He has the, Lovie Smith drooled over Christian Harris because Christian Harris, and we saw it in games.
He showed
When
flashes.
he showed some flashes.
18 tackles.
Yeah, he got some interceptions, so I think a pair of interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. So, overall, the Texans have those two guys. The biggest question mark is who's going to be your third linebacker? Who's going to be playing Sam linebacker? Is it going to be Corey Littleton, older vet that they grabbed? Can it be Garrett Wallow? Can Garrett Wallow showcase something into himself? I know a lot of people have said Neville Hewitt. I just don't think Neville Hewitt's a Sam linebacker. He's really big, bulky, slow. He's more of a middle linebacker. So I don't know who's going to be that other third linebacker. That's where I really worry. But yeah, it's a position group that it needs some more beef, man.
It needs some more beef, man. I agree. The one area of this defense we are not worried about is the secondary.
No.
I think Derek Stingley is going to be locked down. I think whoever cornerback 2 is going to be locked down. I think with the safety tandem, I get excited about it because I think Jalen Petrie is really going to come to his own. And I think we are going to be crediting Jimmy Ward for not only the development of Jalen Petrie, but also the entire defense because he is our captain.
Yeah. I love the secondary, man. I mean, we all know Jimmy Ward. We all know Jalen Petrie. Derek Stingley, to me, like I've already mentioned, I think he's going to take that big leap into year 2, a big leap.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody hasn't yet, go check out Drew Doherty. He came out with an article around Jalen Petrie. Dave Aranda, was the coach at Baylor, and he has direct quotes from Aranda in that article talking about Jalen rules, quote unquote. There is a term called Jalen's rules because Jalen Petrie, his awareness on the field was so high that they let him do things that no other players would do. They wouldn't let other players do what Jalen Petrie did.
Mm-hmm.
They would tell Jalen Petrie, hey, that one of the quotes was, hey, you're going to be a containment rusher right here. And Jalen Petrie says, nah, F that. I'm going inside and sacks the quarterback. Like that. And then what does that remind you of? Reminds me of J.J. Watt. Hey, if Jalen Petrie can sniff any of the accolades that J.J. Watt gets, I'm all here for it, man. I love Jalen Petrie. I think if anybody, he has the best chance of being an all-pro just because, like John had said, whenever we were on the Believe Network, Believe Texans, make sure y'all are following the Believe Texans. We're going to promote that crap as much as we can, man. We got to get as many followers as possible. But John Crumpler, Dr. Crump, shout out to Crump, man.
I am a surgeon.
He's he had mentioned that was his pick for all pro was Jalen Petrie, just because of the level of safety play and the numerous safeties. Like there's not many that are, there's not many great to good safeties compared to cornerback. Cornerback's so much deeper in terms of great players. Safety, not so much. So Jalen Petrie, maybe he gets that all pro nod, but I think he's going to have a fantastic year here.
I agree too. I think the secondary is going to be the biggest bright spot of the team. And as we end this stream to a close, because like I said, man, tomorrow is the first day of training camp.
Yeah.
And we are going to probably go live in the next couple of days because there is going to be a lot to talk about. Harley, let them know where they could find you at.
You can find me at the lead _HOU. You could type that in on YouTube. You will immediately find the channel if you just type in that at
Mhm.
to get to the Ed Reed stuff real quick. Hey man, Believe in Texas podcast. That is what we do. We do that on every Wednesday. We upload it every, believe, Thursday or Friday whenever it
Mhm.
comes out. We mentioned Ed Reed with Glover Quinn, okay, and Glover Quinn was on the podcast, and
It's
man,
a little
you know,
salty.
yeah, he was a little salty about it. He still is to this day. I know he was. There was a lot of rumors about him being upset about it, and so I had to ask him about the Ed Reed stuff. And man, uh, he is still salty about it. So make sure you also find us on the Believe. What?
Or you
All
find him on
right.
the hell, you gonna get scared.
Yeah, you find me on the hub. You gonna see something you ain't gonna want to
Pull up
see.
my shit's gonna get wild.
Let me tell you right now, man. Let me tell you right now how long that Schmeat.
How many are you in, bro?
What's up?
Like, how many topos are you in?
This is third one.
It's your third one. I'm a good four in. I love beer, bro, and I hope that one day we're gonna be sponsored by like a Blue Moon or a
Mm,
Topo Chico.
that'd be nice. That'd be
That would
nice.
be great. And like before we end this stream, shout out to Hardy for joining me. Um, tomorrow, since it's the first day of training camp, I mean, we could go live and record the Believe in Houston Texans podcast here after the first day in training camp. There's going to be lots of talking about because when you look at other teams, man, the buzz is crazy. You
Yeah.
got the Jets going crazy.
Mm.
You hear that Amon St. Brown for the Lions caught 6 red zone touchdowns,
Whew.
and it is gonna be who do we draft ahead of Amon St. Brown?
Oh man, it's blinking.
Nico
Yeah,
Collins.
yeah. Nico Collins. He traded up for him.
And we traded 4 day 3 picks for that guy. Now
Yeah.
it's no hate on Nico though. Like I like
Is there not? For
you have hate
Amon
on
St.
Nico?
For Amon St. Brown, I might have a
Oh,
little hate there. I might have a little hate there. All right, man. I'm telling you right now, I might.
look at this. They're
Hey,
saying we'll be waiting for y'all recap for Texans training camp tomorrow. No, I mean I think it's gonna be exciting. I think the first day last year it was booming. It
yeah.
was
Oh yeah.
booming. And
Two things, man. Two
if it
things.
go ahead.
Quentin Dimps. He's going to be our third co-host, a part of the Believe in Texans network. I forgot
You're
to say
announcing
that.
that now?
Yeah, man, we got to announce
I
it.
put up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He,
Start. Go
he,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
he is a part of the Believe in Texans network officially. He is
Mm-hmm.
back. So yeah, we are gonna have Quentin Dimps. Burr, you mean the H2 R's with the Burry? He is going to be back with us in the Believe in Texans podcast. So yeah, if we do go live, you might see us with Quentin Dimps, former Houston Texans safety. So, and then second thing, you mentioned the Detroit Lions. I have a video on Simmer on, and nobody's going to want to miss this. I think the Houston Texans could be this year's Detroit Lions. There's a
Okay.
lot of hype with the Lions. They're opening the NFL season. Like, I think the Houston Texans have a possibility to compare themselves to what the Detroit Lions did last year. They were the hottest team. NFL media loved them. And shout out to the Lions. Good for them.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
bite their legs off. We're gonna bite their
yeah,
kneecaps.
yeah, man. Who knew their coach was biting kneecaps off in locker rooms? I mean, my goodness. But hey, we got an energetic head coach. And then D'Amico Ryan's not as crazy as biting kneecaps off, but he's gonna get on your ass. Don't let him be too cool with you now.
Bite
He's
kneecaps
Cap.
off.
He's Cap. So you got an energetic head coach. You got an OC that similar to Ben Johnson. Sure, you might not know about him, but buddy, this offense is gonna be booming. I'm
Shout
telling you
out
that
to
right now.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, all right, Ben Johnson, man, he's gonna be a good head
Hey,
coach in the future.
hey, bro. I
I
want
was sold.
him to be hot
I
to
was
be my
sold
next head coach out.
for real. I
And
was I was sold on Ben Johnson, but Bobby Slowick, you got an improved defense, a on paper improved offensive line, running backs, and Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary. Maybe this Houston Texans team can be like the Detroit Lions this coming year. I got the video coming out tomorrow.
and where can they find that video at?
At the lead _HOU, man. Type it into the YouTube search engine just like that. At the lead underscore HOU. You will find me immediately. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell for the notification to turn on. You're not going to want to miss it. I am giving away Texans training camp tickets. I already gave out a pair of Texans training camp tickets for the 28th. Is it? Yeah, for the 28th on Friday. So that dude was super, super excited. He was the first one to comment on the channel, and I immediately said it. So if anybody subscribes, hit them noties. You don't know what video it would be. It could be an Astros video. It could be a Rockets video. It could be a damn video of just me acting a fool. Who knows? But just make sure those noties are on, man. You got to be subscribed, though. You have to be subscribed. I appreciate everyone. All of the 3.5 on the way to 3,500 subscribers. My goodness, we are at 3423 last I checked. So amazing things going on for the channel. Lots of good things.
You can find me and just type in 713 Houston Sportcast in the search bar. Listen to our podcast, Believe in the Houston Texans. And I'm going to say it again, if you don't have us in notifications these next couple of weeks, and you are missing out. You will not find two guys who have the most up-to-date Houston Texans news, rumors, updates. We drop content 24/7. And like Harley just mentioned, we will also have former Houston Texans, Quentin and Demps, a part of the Believe in the Houston Texans podcast. So big things are coming from this duo right here, guys. We are going to keep it going for you guys, no matter. Oh, never mind. Shout out to the Houston Texans. Shout out to the Houston Texans fans, man. Y'all have a very blessed day. Give me 1 second for I end this bitch.